Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz Doctor Who Review, episode number 83. Yep, we have another story featuring the Sixth Doctor. And it's a story that was the third last story of season 22 of the series. And it is the longest one of the entire season because all the other stories that aired in season 22 are 2 episodes apiece. The length of these episodes are 45 minutes, but this one is 3 episodes, which you break up as a 6-parter. Yeah, this one's almost 2.5 hours. We have the 2 Doctors, which is the first one to be this length since Tom Baker's run. Yes. Now, this one has 2 interesting factors, this one. Mostly 3. Aside from the fact, yes, return to the Second Doctor, that was obvious. We have the Centaurans here. Yes. This one is sadly put the final appearance in Classic Who of the Second Doctor, Jamie McCrimmon, and also the last appearance of the Centaurans. Because here's the weird thing. Apparently Johnny the Third did not want the 6th and 7th Doctor to fight off against the Centaurans. Now I do know the 5th Doctor did, in audio drama. I don't know about the 7th Doctor. So we start off with something interesting. We have a black and white thing for the Second Doctor and Jamie. And then cut to color. Now, this is a bit unusual seeing the TARDIS like this because if anybody's ever seen how the TARDIS interior looked during Second Doctor's run, this looks completely different. It's like basically they just didn't bother to do research on what the heck the interior looked like when the Second Doctor was there because they're literally inside of the current Doctor's TARDIS interior. Actually, sadly put, this is something really interesting about this era for Doctor Who. 5th, 6th, and 7th had the same exact interior the entire time. Yep, do not know the reason for it, but that's basically what it is. So, they go to this space station in what later described as the Pencil Galaxy. A galaxy that only exists for like seconds before disappearing. So, they meet up with a guy there who's, like, you see is like, wow, the outfit is so 80s. The glasses, the silver attire. I think his name is, what is the name of this guy? Michelle Ruff. Okay, the name of this guy is the story. Now, Victoria is mentioned in this story, yes, as studying genealogy. Well, I think it's what they describe it as somebody who basically studies handwriting. Now, why the heck it's like this? Yeah, even a doctor wonders why the heck basically that, well, she does this. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, she's mentioned in the story, but this is the first time she's been mentioned that I could think of since, how long has it been? I think not since 5 Doctors, I believe it was. Yeah, this is just a brief mention of her, but technically put, Victoria was not on Doctor Who very long. No, she's technically there for about almost a whole season, and then she left. Yeah, she was there from Eva to Dalek, and she left in Inferior to Deep. She probably gets mentioned in episode 1. But if you think about this, I have covered all of her appearances for Classic Who. Really? You think? Yeah, I have. Because I have covered Eva to Daleks, Two in the Cybermen, The Abominable Snowmen, The Ice Warriors, Enemy of the World, Web of Fear, and Fear. The only one I technically haven't covered is Wheel in Space. Well, she also makes one appearance in Dimension of Time. Yeah, aside from mentioned by her, there is no physical appearance by her at all. They also did the Sorry, who is an old friend of the Doctor's, or apparently he's here as representing the Time Lords, which they're basically questioning why in the world doing these 2 guys' experiments in time travel. Do we see these scientists? No. They're mentioned several times in the story. They do not make physical appearance at all. So they're chatting for a while, and sorry, very nice office. Like, wow, this office looks so nice. And then the station gets attacked. And then we see a wand. Yeah, it's the Centaurans. It's so obvious it's the Centaurans. Like, they don't exactly do a good job hiding the fact it's them. You wanna know how it's them? The weapon is a freaking wand. Yes, seriously. And then they show the Centaurans later arrive at Earth, and they have the very bad distinction of not showing the cool, like, oh, take out the helmet and reveal what their head looks like. Yeah, this is something that I do agree with the criticism of this. Like, we briefly see him kind of take out the helmet, we don't really see him like, oh, there we go. Yeah, it's like so abrupt. We also they also mentioned about the Rutons in here, which Rutons only made one physical appearance ever in Doctor Who. Yeah. And what appearance was that? The Whore of Frang Rock. So the main villain of this story is Chastine, who seemed like the actor was a very lovely woman at the time. Let's see. She must have been early 40s. Let's see. Born in 1943, this story aired in, I think it was 1985. She must have been 37. Yep. Apparently she's Angram. Yes. We also got a named Shakai, who seems like a very much older gentleman, basically, by the look of him. He definitely was, because I think apparently, from looks, it looks like he was probably like in his 60s when he did this story. Yeah. By the way, the space station itself, yeah, it only appears like mostly in episode 1 and is never seen again in Doctor Who. Yeah, it's kind of strange that we only see the exterior of this thing once, and the interior. Okay, so the interior when they show it, it's like a regular hall. It's like very much like a standard hallway you would see for like 80s sci-fi. It's like the only thing different about this place is Desori's office because it's revealed by the Sixth Doctor, the guy had a thing for old-fashioned. So he didn't like computers, and yet he uses them. So then the second Doctor disappears. Jamie is basically hiding inside the interior of the ship, of the space station. And then all of a sudden we cut to the Sixth Doctor and Perry, where they're fishing. Yep, fishing. And they go, gotta get this fish, they get back to TARDIS. Then the Doctor briefly collapsed because Perry's memory lapsed. Like, oh, he expected me to have died. Not really. They get the space station, and I was like, oh crap, the place is a mess. The computer nearly tries to kill them, but they fix it anyways. They go to Desari's office, which, yeah, that is the same office that you saw before, which great continuity there. That's what they at least got praised about this episode. It has great continuity. Like, nothing has really changed here, per se. I mean, everything looks like you see in one scene, and we used to go back to it later, and it's the same exact thing. Yep. And then, of course, you have Perry and the Doctor in the interior look way to disable the computer. Well, then, of course, basically, Doctor falls off thanks to a smoke because Perry starts screaming, and the person who's attacking her is Jamie. And he's not wearing the Scottish outfit. He's basically wearing what looks like to be a jumpsuit. Why the heck he's wearing this for is never explained in the story. He just randomly wears it because he's hiding. So then, of course, he's able to discern that what he thought was Dr. Dyne was actually just a machine. And they go back to TARDIS, and Jamie puts on a brand new kilt. Yeah, basically, because I think when he first opened the story, he's wearing his kilt that he wore in, from what I can tell, when he first showed up on the classic era. And then later on, he basically put on this brand new attire. Yeah, that almost seems as though basically that Jamie was given a much more updated attire. And looking at basically a picture from the Five Doctors, I think they pretty much gave him the same outfit they have from Five Doctors. Now, why the heck the Doctor had this TARDIS, I have no idea. It is quite strange. So then, of course, basically they set course for Earth because Shot Guy wanted to taste a human because he saw Jamie. So he wanted to taste a human. So they go to Earth and they go to Spain, which from what I read originally was supposed to be New Orleans, but that was cut due to budget reasons. So they go to Spain. Okay, Spain. So they go to this mansion, this very beautiful looking mansion, and one thing I thought was very interesting about the story is the fact a lot of the story is set outside and in this Spanish town. So they go there, and there's an old lady there, and she gets knocked out. The Tsar reads her mind and talk about religion, and well, and of course mention the food in the area, and of course they talk about the house. Apparently, it's described by one lady later that apparently like this one kind of Donnie used to live here in this town. So now there's a woman named Nita here, very beautiful woman. She's played by Carmen Gomez, which was born in 1949. So I suspected, based on how she looked, she must have been close to 40 when this story aired. Let's see, since she was born in 1949, that means that she was 36 when this aired, and she looked gorgeous in this story. Yeah, her partner in the story, who she's obviously madly in love with, but he talks about basically moths. He's like a very nice gentleman. He's played by a guy by the name of James Saxton, who is like a little bit younger than she is. She was 36 while he was like 31. Yeah, 5 years younger. Yep. Yeah. And of course, basically these two like run a restaurant. We actually see him a couple times. This is our first basically meet with the Doctor when he arrives there, and the Doctor has ditched his coat, and he's unbuttoned his vest, and he's taken off his tie. Now, my guess is probably the reason why they did this because it was hot. I have heard, when I read basically for this, that it was hot on that day, like really, really hot. So, I guess the Sixth Doctor, I guess comic is like, no, I'm gonna ditch my coat and just basically just keep the regular clothes on and just wear that. Second Doctor managed to keep all of the only thing he took off was his coat and he unbuttoned his bow tie. And like, that's the only thing he did. Well, in the case Sixth Doctor, took up the coat, took up the tie, unbuttoned the front of his shirt, and buttoned his vest. And apparently he basically put away his watch. Now this is quite strange because they do not show us when the heck he did this in the store, but Well, my guess is they probably cut it because it probably would take too much time, possibly. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at stuff here. So, hmm. Yeah. Mostly put basically, then after they arrive, they actually find the second Doctor. Well, it takes a bit of time. First, you see the sixth Doctor, he wakes up on Earth, and by the way, his TARDIS has disappeared. Yeah, apparently he got a recall device on it. Now, the reason why that's there is because the. Here's the thing. Apparently, the second Doctor is working for the CIA. You thinking, wait, you mean the Central Intelligence Agency? Oh no, the Celestial Intervention Agency. Yes. He works with Time Lords. Now, there has been a popular fan theory related to this called Season 6B. Now, there have been many different accounts exactly what the heck what happened between the regenerations of second to third, because it's not exactly ever explained of what the heck causes regeneration in the first place. It is one of two, never seen on screen. The other course being from from War Doc. Well, here's kind of the strange thing with that. That was a bit of a retcon when it had that. Like first there was an echo with that one, but that's a different story altogether. So, by the way, the Centaurans are not defeated by the Doctor. No, well, one technically is. The other one is killed by acid. Because their partners betrayed them, dump acid in a little well area, actually like a stairway, and of course kills one. The other one barely survives. The other one tries to take out the time machine which they built, and the guy dies. Well, actually, he managed to get out, goes to a spaceship, and the spaceship explodes. And it's almost like basically the Centaurans basically raw here. They pretty much don't do anything, just walk around. The commander basically fires his gun off a couple of times. Yeah, they're just here as grunts for the real villains of the story. Yeah, I kind of think it's kind of dumb for their final appearance in Classic Who. And they're not the main bad guy of the story. Nope, they're just mercenaries. Because preparing for a fight in the Muton cluster with the Rutons. Now, here's a strange thing when it comes to the Centaurans and the Second Doctor. The Second Doctor never encountered the Centaurans during his time on TV, but this is the first on screen he's met them. My guess is he probably has met them once before at some unknown point, presumably off screen. Now, I don't know if this is explained in audio dramas. I have no idea. It is by far like, is there a scene where basically the Doctor just partially undresses? Not really, no. Not really. Yeah, and by the way, how the villain's defeated? Well, one is basically knocked out via chloroform. Another one gets vaporized thanks to the special time machine. The CD is shot. Yeah, pretty much laying way for these villains to die. But this is a good story overall. The women, and of course, well, Once again, Perry, it's like, oh, you're pretty. Yes. I'm like, here's the thing. Like, okay, how many stories now have you stories with Perry Brown in it? This is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th story, and once again, we have to comment the fact Perry Brown is hot. Okay, now, it's like, is it just me, or is that, I'm sure all the viewers have caught on to this, basically when they watch Doctor Who at the point, but it's like every single story Perry Brown pops up in, we have to know how hot she is. Now, I say to that alternative, why the heck can I say anything about that? But when it comes to Tegan, Tegan was Janet Fielding at the time was a very beautiful woman, though now she was older, and Nicole Bryant basically looked like she's aged barely since the 80s. Yeah. Plus, I should also talk about this too. This restaurant scene. Yeah. We have a doctor and Shaka eating at a restaurant, and apparently they basically eat so much food that apparently they rang out the bill to over 81 pesos, possibly. I'm assuming that's probably about $10,000 worth of bill. Like, it's expensive. And they look at the money, so Shaka kills the guy in the store, Oscar. And then we have a bit of a comedy, like, right after the man dies. I'm like, really? Why the heck would you have to have comedy right after a man just died? Just be pretty polite and leave the restaurant. And by the way, like, I know what happened to Nita afterwards. It's just like, oh, okay. So we see the return, change of clothes, and okay. I like these two characters. I didn't like the fact that he had to get killed off. Even when I originally watched the story, I did not like the fact Oscar had to die in the first place. He also described he's an actor, too, from Hamlet. But not much else to say. Of course, the second Doctor goes back to the TARDIS with Jamie, and they're never seen again in Doctor Who. No, seriously. Though Jamie does return again in audio dramas. Yes. And from what I heard, he also does an impersonation of Patrick Troughton during the stories. I haven't listened to them yet, but there's that. So yeah, that's it, particular view. Next up is a couple comment corners, and I might get a chance to do a couple episodes of Devil's Part-Timer. Okay, next video. Bye.